What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2021 here at Mountain Motorsports, and in front of us we have a Mountain Motorsports non-vehicle. Guys, in front of us we've got the 2022 Triumph Speed Triple 1200RR. Triumph essentially took their amazing Speed Triple RS and they put a fairing on it. I'm just kidding, there's a few more things in that. We'll talk about it in this video. Is this a sport? Is it a super sport? I'm not really sure. Stick around to find out. And guys, do me a favor, drop a like for the first ride of 2022. With all that being said, guys, let's get this video started. The guys in the shop, I guess you can change your name in the system and watch how they spell human. Alright guys, that's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Now, before we can get this thing going, we got to pay some bills so we can have some of that beautiful camera car footage. So we're going to cut to an ad really fast, and then we will be right back and get this thing cranked up.
So guys, this first start is brought to you by the Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage Patreon page. If you guys don't know, we run a show called Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage where we take wrecked motorcycles, we take them into the shop, we rebuild them, and we turn them into the dream motorcycles you guys are looking at right here. If you guys want to sign up, you can do so for as little as $5, and part of that Patreon page is you get week ahead content, you get other posts that we do only to that Patreon page, and you get to help us decide what stuff we do to each of the dream bikes to build them. That top link down below will take you over to the page. Hope to see you guys there.
Alright guys, we're back. Thank you for sticking around through the ad. If it wasn't for the ads, we wouldn't be able to make really cool videos. It would just be regular ass videos. So, thanks for doing that. Let's get it cranked up. But first, I'm 5'10", and I have a 32-inch inseam, and as you guys can see, I've got bent legs, and I can get both feet on the ground. Now, I will say, I am smashed up against the tank, so I'm going to scoot back a little bit, and by scooting back, I can just barely get my feet on the ground. I also got these big old Icon boots on, though, so keep that in mind. All right, it's a Triumph clutch in. Let's get this first ride started. First one, you're gonna do that? What the fuck? You guys give Josh in the comments. And guys, before we get going, I always like to invite you guys over to our Discord channel. It's totally free, and I'm about to chase this Taycan, so sorry, I'm not gonna push to that anymore. All right, favorite car is a Porsche Taycan. You're gonna leave me just like that? Damn it. All right, guys, 2022 Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS. This thing is an absolute beauty. It is one of the best looking bikes of the year so far. I absolutely love the way it looks. You know, we've got the Speed Triple RS, which is this amazing hyper naked, and we had that in the shop for a little while towards the end of 2021, and it seems like Triumph was like, you know what, this machine is a lot for the naked platform. And if you guys go back and watch the first ride of that Speed Triple RS, I said that that bike is a super sport hidden inside of a naked platform, which I thought was interesting. You know, the engine characteristics didn't really fit that motorcycle, I didn't think, or it did if you wanted a very aggressive hyper naked. I'm hoping that without too many modifications, this bike will take all of the sport from that power plant and put it into a more aggressive platform. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. And also, this thing is not cheap. This thing's coming in at like 20,000, 21,000, something like that. It is sitting on 177 horsepower with, I think, around 98 foot-pounds of torque, so we are not messing around with crazy numbers. So as far as body position, the body position on this thing is almost textbook definition of super sport. I am very leaned over. My legs don't feel that cramped. Like, I can think of other motorcycles where my legs have felt more cramped, but this bike is probably in the top 3 of bikes that make me feel with my top half leaned over. You know, we're talking about the CBR 1000RR 1000R thing. That's probably the only other bike I can really think about in recent memory where I was as leaned over as this. Now that's going to put you in an extremely aggressive body position. If this power plant ends up being what I expect it to be, that's probably going to bode really well for how this thing is going to put power down. Coming to a stop here. Now we do have multiple modes. If we go into the mode segment, we are currently in rain. We can go from rain, road, sport, track, and rider. Rider being a customizable mode. So let's pop her up into road. We've got our rain mode checked out. Nobody cares about rain mode. Just kidding. Rain mode, super important to have. You guys know I love modes, so I'm looking to feel differences in each of these modes. And I'm also looking to go a bit faster than that, but I don't want to cut that car off. Whatever. That's what I want in the mode, baby. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, rain to road, very much different in that throttle response. One of the other things that this thing has, guys, just a heads up, is the electronic suspension, both front and rear. So that's dynamically changing based on the mode that you're putting in and how you're riding. It's pretty phenomenal stuff. We are kind of in slower speeds here, and so far the bike seems to be maneuvering totally fine. You know, the major hindrance with maneuvering at slow speeds is more the body position, but the bike seems to just kind of go wherever you want it to. It's very compliant as far as maneuvering. I'm interested to see how that's going to be once we get a little bit faster. But as far as these slow speeds, I don't think the weight is an issue. It's just the body position. You know, I'm basically I'm laying down on this motorcycle. And while we're on the body position topic, I gotta say it's a little annoying. You know, I'm a little chubbier right now, I'm not gonna lie. When I'm leaned over the motorcycle and I'm trying to sit around on the bike, I'm almost always touching the gas tank with my stomach. I mean, I can feel it there, you know? I don't know if I'm a fan of such a leaned over position, but you know, let's get to the highway and let's see what the wind resistance is once you get to that point. This Audi seems to be wanting to go a little faster than these other cars, so I think we're gonna hitch our pony to that thing. Hitch our wagon? We're gonna hitch our wagon to this pony. Yeah, because it would be a pony pulling the wagon, so you would hitch it to the faster thing. That. I'm gonna get behind the Audi because he goes faster. That's what I mean. So guys, let's talk about weight for a second. You know, we're sitting at this red light, throwing the bike back and forth. It is not a light motorcycle. You can feel the weight of this thing, but I don't think it's heavy to the point of it's like really a bad thing. Like, I wouldn't call it a negative. And something I'm noticing is that when we get up to speed, the weight feels fine. Like, you know, it's super sporty. It feels planted. It feels solid, like it's a solid unit. It doesn't flick to the side very easily. Everything's kind of methodical and slow. I feel very put together on this machine. I think that's the word I'm kind of looking for, is put together. It's a 1200. It ain't light. It's a super sport body position, so you're not gonna be real, you know, flicky with it. But you know, when you ask the bike to do something, whether it be turn or go in a direction or throttle up, everything feels really methodical and intentional. And I really like the feel of this thing. I like the balance and the weight of it. I think it fits with the style of riding I kind of want to do. This bike makes me want to, you know, go fast and lean it over. And if I have a bike that makes me want to go fast and lean it over, I want to feel stable and safe doing that. This bike definitely translates that feeling to me. Now, before we get on the highway, which is going to be a major test for this motorcycle, we're going to go ahead and put it in sport mode. Now, we're not going to be testing track mode today. That would be irresponsible of us. But what we will be testing is my favorite, the 40 to 80 pull. Once we get on that highway, guys, we're going to be testing this bike to see how fast it can usably accelerate from 40 miles an hour to 80. And let me tell you, this thing is going to do it quickly. 177 horsepower is not something to mess with. The problem is going to be finding an open slot to where I can get down to 40. All right, we are in sport mode. 40 to 80 pull. Let's find it. We got a decent amount of traffic today, so might be a little hard. Let's just slow it down. Let's see if we can get there. All right, you guys watch it. I'm gonna just hammer it in a second. All right, 40, and let's go. Oh shit, we were only supposed to go to 80. My bad, sorry, the wheel was coming up. I couldn't focus. I have not throttled this bike up that much yet, and that was exhilarating. Honestly, I could have gone way faster than that, but the wheels started coming up and I was like, wait, shit, does this thing have wheelie control? Wow, how incredible. That was phenomenal, guys. Oh my gosh, that felt great. Okay, staying focused. Let's talk about the wind resistance, because we have this new fairing up front. As far as the wind, I can feel right here, which is going to hit me in the chest, which for a bike that angles me so far forward, I'm totally here for that. If you guys ride super sports, you know that move where you keep one hand on the handlebar and you bend your other arm and you kind of lean up against it? That feels right at home here on this bike. I'm honestly feeling like this thing's a super sport, regardless of what it is or not. All right, so let's talk about cruise control real quick. I'm going to disengage it by pushing forward. Cruise control, just on most other Triumphs we've been riding lately, we've got this cruise control button here. You press it down to turn it on. Press it down one more time. It goes green. It's set. You can push it up and down. I love cruise control on Triumphs. They work out really well. The only funny thing I talk about is, like, I don't know how to turn that little set light off. This little gray one out. But as far as the power on the highway, guys, I don't think anybody was wondering. The power doesn't drop down at all. I can't go fast enough on a public road to really push the power of this thing. And also that stability that I was talking about earlier, the weight versus the body position, I feel super stable, and I honestly feel relatively agile on the highway. I feel more agile than I think I would have expected. Like, look at that. I can change lanes and I'm going, what, 90 miles an hour? I'm not supposed to be going 90 miles an hour, but I'm surprised at how easily I can change lanes. I'm not sure if that's the body position, maybe the rake or the suspension or something like that. But all that's behind us, literally. But what's in front of us is this really awesome turn that I love. Let's enjoy for a moment. Oh my good Lord. I could probably do this at about 95 miles an hour and not be even pushing it. Okay, that's interesting. The way I would describe what that felt like was comfortable traction. Typically, when you have traction, right, you have a harder suspension and you have a lot of feel from the motorcycle. That felt super comfortable. I didn't feel the handlebars just shaking all over the place with like road information, but I felt stable as shit in that turn. Let me think about that, guys, for a second. We're gonna jump to the Cardo spot real quick. Shout out to Cardo for sponsoring the First Ride series, providing us with the best Bluetooth communicators. Let's see what the guys in the camera car think about the Speed Triple RR.
This motorcycle is absolutely amazing. We had the Speed Triple normal version in the shop a couple weeks back. Loved that bike. Love this one even more. They put a fairing on it, switched to these sort of clip-ons. It's much more aggressive. It's much more of a sportier position. It took me about 3 days commuting back and forth to get used to that position, and I was a little bit sore, mangled my back a little bit, is uncomfortable, but all in all, I love this bike now. It's amazing.
All right, so I'm a big fan of any 3-cylinder motor. I think they just sound heavenly, but They wrapped it up nice with a bow. I mean, you can't get over that red, like that pearl. Oh man. All in all, it seems like a very balanced bike. I only got to take it around the block for a little bit. Short time I've spent on sport bikes or super sport bikes. That's the one that I would want to be on. I'm sure they're going to do something else in the entry of speed triples to top this somewhere. Can't see this being topped for any time soon.
Alright guys, that is the Cardo spot. Thank you Trey and Luke for giving us your opinions. Also guys, Trey, that's our new producer. Give him a what's up in the comments down below. Also, if you guys want to get discount on Cardo units, you can in the link in the description of all the first rides. Thank you Cardo for sponsoring the series and giving us, providing us with our Bluetooth communicators. So guys, the power delivery on this bike is so strong. You know, between the highway here on city streets, it tapers in, but when you are in that power band, I'm not quite sure where the power band is. It's you know, kind of medium up on the revs. When you are in the power band on this thing, it is a rocket ship, but it does have a pretty smooth entry into that power band area. I feel like it's a lot of power, but it's really controllable because I mean, it's hard to manage that kind of power. And it revs fast. You better be ready. Transmission-wise, we've got a clutchless up and down shifter that feels glorious. The only problem with this transmission, and it's the same problem the transmission had on the RS, is that it does not like neutral. I don't know why. I can't figure it out, but it is not a neutral fan. I want to talk about brakes real quick because my goodness, these brakes are the kind where you don't want to mess with. They will stop you on a dime. Like, well, I'm gonna come in way hotter than I should with this, but downshifting, brakes. I'll do a front flip if I even. That's one finger giving medium, not even medium, that's one finger giving light brakes, and this thing dives in. I can't imagine a stronger set of brakes on a motorcycle. I don't know why you would need a stronger set of brakes on a motorcycle, but I'm not at a racetrack, so you know, if you're buying this for a track day, you know, maybe this is not the review for you to check out. For city streets, that is an insane amount of braking power. And that, oh my God, that's just with one finger. I cannot imagine you just really hammering in on the brakes. So for my own protection, I'm gonna put myself back in road mode. I am here on the road. Let's focus on that. Still got the slightly laggy dash from the RS model. But in general, I really do like the dash on this bike. I feel like it doesn't give you a ton of information. I love that the control for the dash, very easy to use. We've got this joystick over here. You can move up and down around the dash. We've got our mode button, and in case you get totally confused, we have a home button here that'll take you back to the main screen. I really like the way Triumph is doing their dashes and their controls. The only company I think doing better than Triumph right now is Ducati on their brand new stuff. Ducati's brand new stuff is like the class leader for dashes and controls. Triumph is right behind them. Some other stuff that I want to talk about real quick is the fit and finish on all the controls. If you notice, our lever over here, our clutch lever on the RS model, it wiggled a lot, and I'm not really sure what was causing that. We tried to tighten it up and we couldn't get it figured out. The lever here on the RR model does not vibrate it around at all, so I love the addition of that, the modification they made. And guys, we're talking about a Triumph. We're talking about a almost $21,000 motorcycle. The fit and finish is top level. Nothing on this motorcycle looks or feels cheap. You know, if you're looking for that premium motorcycle experience where literally everything is thought about, every material, this is the type of motorcycle you look for, you know. I will say, talking about the levers real quick, I feel like the clutch lever doesn't engage till the very end. Now, a couple of guys in the shop have been riding this bike, and I'm personally not a fan of that. Here's the way to describe the clutch. I like to only use 2 fingers on my clutch. This clutch doesn't engage early enough to where I can use 2 fingers. I'm not a fan of that. There is some adjustability. I'm going to try to adjust it as much as I can while I have it in the shop. and see if I can get it adjusted to how I like it. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to. I've had that issue currently. Now guys, before we keep going, let's pull off here and take a look at this bike. Now I know, thanks to our sponsors, you guys have been able to watch me ride this thing around on our camera car footage, but I would love to take a second and walk around it with you guys and tell you guys what I feel about it, point some stuff out that I really like in our, of course, church parking lot. All right, guys, so we're going to turn the bike off. If you notice, keyless entry to this machine. Of course, if you're paying that kind of money, you damn well better get keyless entry. So here we are, guys. Speed Triple RR. Personally, it's one of the best looking bikes I have ever seen. You guys, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I love cafe racers, and this is the modern cafe racer. You are leaned way over. You've got this beautiful red, and from what we've noticed here in the shop while filming it, this is one of the best reds on camera. Ducati red is really hit or miss. Triumph nailed it with this motorcycle. What's really cool about this bike is if you guys look at our Rec Bike Rebuild CBR 1000 that we're building into a Street Fighter, it's very reminiscent to this motorcycle. We've got the curved front headlight. Ours is red, black, and white. So here we have a really dark gray and a lighter gray. It's funny how we're very similar with how our bikes are looking. I love these little carbon accents that they have. We got Brembos up front, which makes sense. Those things will stop you on a dime. I really, honestly, I love everything about this bike. If I got it, I wouldn't even change the exhaust. I like the exhaust sound, honestly. It's not over punchy, but it has that kind of that triple whine. The electronic suspension that we were talking about here, you guys can see it here in the rear, those two cables coming out. Suspension has been absolutely phenomenal. That's what it is, guys. I'm going to grab my camera real quick. We're going to take our first ride photo and post for us to post over on Instagram. If you guys aren't following us on Instagram, make sure to. We are at C2WPic, and we're also at Chaseontwowheels on TikTok. If you guys want to see little tiny clips, allow me, if you will, to grab me camera. What a great looking bike, man. I haven't been able to find an angle of this bike that I don't like. Look at that, man. Oh my goodness. What a great looking bike. This is one of those bikes, dude. It's kind of like up there in that Panigale status where if I had one of these, I would have a hard time deciding, do I want to go ride it or do I want to just go take photos of it? Anyways, guys, if you guys want to see the photos I took, they will be over on the C2WPics Instagram. And if you're watching this video, they're probably already up. So go over there. Make sure to follow us. We post a lot of motorcycle photos that we do first rides on, but we post all kinds of photos. So we'd love for y'all to join us on that little adventure. All right, let's finish this thing up. So guys, the big question I have with the Speed Triple RR, is it a roadster? Is it a sport bike? Is it a super sport? I could probably make an entire video on the topic, but I feel like regardless of what Triumph calls this thing, between the high revving, extremely powerful engine and the body position that I'm in on this motorcycle and how it makes me feel like I want to ride it, I feel like there's nothing you can call this motorcycle other than a super sport. It's very aggressive body position, makes you want to lean the bike over. The bike feels like it is in its zone when it's leaned over. It has more power than you can ever deal with. And what does that make you want to do? It makes you want to go to a track day so you can feel how much power this thing has in a legal space. It's got an incredible suspension on it that is not only amazing for track use, but incredible for road use as well, with how easy on the dash it is to change the mode. So what is it? Personally, I'm calling this thing a super sport, hands down, no problem. There's no way I'm not. Another question I'd like to answer for you guys is, who is this bike for? One, if you're buying this motorcycle, you have to realize you are going to be buying a super sport. It is that super aggressive, super powerful thing. So I'm not going to recommend this as your one and only motorcycle. I'm honestly going to recommend this as your weekend plaything. This you're gonna go to the bike night and show off your really cool looking bike. You're gonna go to the mountains on the weekends and really get all that fun riding done. Honestly, guys, if I owned this thing, I would have to go to the chiropractor after every time I ride it. You have to be so bent over while riding it just because of the body position it's in. And another thing I don't love about the body position that I noticed when we were doing the walk around, there's a lot of marring here on the gas tank, and that's because of how high the gas tank comes up. Anybody riding this has to be leaned over so much that your jacket are going to be messing up the tank right there. Now, if you bought the motorcycle, you know, you could get one of those like little clear sticker things to put there, and that would probably solve the problem. So it's not like oh, you can't get this motorcycle because the tank will get messed up. You know, it's nothing like that. But the person that's right for this bike, I think, is either somebody that can handle that kind of riding position and is somebody that wants to do a lot of aggressive riding. I think this bike is just, it's kind of, I don't want to say pointless, but if you're not going to ride this thing aggressively, I don't know if there's a point in this motorcycle. Am I going to buy this bike, hypothetically? I don't think so. I love going and taking photos on it, but I don't think, you know, this thing is expensive. In its price class, you're looking at the Aprilia RS V4, you're looking at the BMW S1000RR, you're looking at the Super Duke, you're looking at the Panigale V4, like you're looking at very expensive motorcycles, and this thing is more expensive than every single one of them except for the Panigale V4. It's in a very high performance class, and it is one of the most expensive ones in the class. Now, are you going to get your monies out of this motorcycle if you're an aggressive rider? I think so, absolutely. But if you're not an aggressive rider, this might not be the bike for you. But guys, that's about all I got to say. I am Chase on Two Wheels. Before we get out of here, I do want to give a big shout out to Triumph for letting us loan this motorcycle. It's due back in a couple days, so I don't know if we're going to be able to make any more content on it. If we can, I would love to see if we can get Triumph to let us loan one of these later in the year, because I'd love to put this thing in different circumstances. You know, take it up to the mountains, do a full-on review. Hopefully this video does well, and Triumph, if it does, I really think you should let us have this for about 2 months, a month, or something like that, so we can actually do a proper review. I'd love to put this thing in the environment that it wants to be in. But guys, I'm Chase on Two Wheels. I really appreciate you riding around with me today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more motorcycle content, and we'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, thank you guys for getting to the end of the video. My question to you, how are you guys feeling about super sports? You know, this, and when I say super sports, I mean the stereotypical super sport. You're leaned way over and the power is up high in the revs. How do you guys feel about those bikes? Personally, I feel like they look phenomenal, but I just can't ride them, man. Not for any extended period of time. Outro crew, make sure to put OC in your comments so we know you guys made it to the outro crew, because that lets us know we love you guys a little bit longer. We'll see you on the next one. Later.